What's going on, guys? I want to talk to you guys about something I saw earlier online. They say it's a nice day out today. Um, Something that I saw online. I saw they were talking about how women are mad because men are no longer approaching. But I'm here to tell you, women have no reason being mad because men are no longer approaching. The reason why men are no longer approaching them is because women have run men away. To be honest, and to be quite frank with you, women don't even want men that they deem as inferior approaching them anyway. So if you're not a dude who's balling, if you're not a dude who's loaded with money, women don't even want you approaching them no way. So this idea that, women, the fact that women are mad because men are no longer approaching them, women have no reason to be mad for men not approaching them. I mean, the average woman, especially nowadays, if you approach them and they don't find you attractive, they'll insult you and just be mean and hostile towards you. So it's understandable to why a lot of men are not approaching women. And women have nobody to blame but themselves. You guys ran men away. You guys ran the men away by being mean and condescending. Because let's be real, women don't even want all men approaching them. They only want a certain caliber of man approaching them. Either a man that they find very attractive or a man who has a lot of money. Women don't want all men stepping to them, and it's quite stupid the fact that women would actually be mad for men not approaching them. Like, why would a man approach you when you just gonna be mean and condescending towards him and gonna bash him and crap on him? I don't blame men for not approaching most women nowadays. I feel you should not approach a woman, and I wish I would have known this back when I was in my teen days. You shouldn't approach a woman unless they're giving you some kind of interest. If a woman is not showing any kind of interest in you, if they're not making eye contact with you, if women are just not showing you any kind of interest that would make you think they want to talk to you, you shouldn't even approach them. Because I used to think you could just cold approach women. Now, what I had to learn about cold approaching is only for a certain caliber of men. Every man can't cold approach a woman. They just can't do it. Unless you a dude that women find very attractive. That's the only way you can cold approach a woman. You got to be like Brad Pitt. If you're not somebody like Brad Pitt, or if you're not somebody like Chris Brown, you can't just walk up on a bad chick and try to talk to her. You can't do that. And I wish I would have known this in my younger days. Approaching women is only for a certain caliber of men. If you're not a man that women find sexy, if you're not a man that get women weak in the knees, like that old school song, I used to hear that back when I was a child. If you're not that caliber of man, don't approach no woman. And women, they should know why men are not approaching them. A lot of women get hostile and mean when a guy try to talk to them, especially if it's a man that they feel is not all that attractive. If it's a dude they feel not all that good looking, they're going to be mean and just, they're going to be a demon from hell to that dude. So you got a lot of men who are intimidated when it comes to approaching women. And I don't blame them. And that's what I had to learn. You should not approach a woman unless they're showing some kind of interest in you first. A woman has to insinuate some kind of interest in you first for you to initiate and seal the deal. And if women are not initiating any interest in you, don't waste your time. I don't blame a lot of men for not approaching women. I don't blame them. Because it's what I had to understand, because I used to look at older men who are happily married with their wives. That's a different generation. And that's what I had to tell myself. I can't look at men who are 40-something, 50-some years old who are happily married. I can't look at those men because they're a part of a different generation. This is a different generation nowadays. These women, if you don't look all that good, if you're not balling financially, these women don't even see you. So women can't be mad for men not approaching them. Like, a lot of women, they've ran a lot of guys away. Because when certain men tried to step to these women, when they tried to approach these women were mean and hostile towards these men. These women were condescending towards these men, and they shut these men down. So I don't blame these men for no longer approaching these women. I don't blame them. I don't blame men for not approaching women, And I used to think, that you could just approach any woman that you want. You can't just approach any woman you want. You got to approach a woman who's showing interest in you. If no woman shows any interest in you, that's because they find you to be a bad-looking man. And you just need to go on and throw in the towel and don't waste your time. Do not waste your time. You're wasting your time and your energy. And a lot of men need to know this. Don't waste your time. If a woman shows interest in you, then you approach her. You do what you have to do. But if they're not showing any interest in you, don't waste your time. Women have ran a lot of men away. They shut them down. They were mean. They were cutthroat. They were condescending towards these men. So I don't blame a lot of men for not approaching women. And women can't be mad for men not approaching them. Try to put yourself in a man's shoes for a day. Try to put yourself in a man's shoes for a day. So women, they can't be mad for men not approaching them. If women were nicer, if women weren't mean and hostile people, when men try to talk to them, then men this wouldn't be a problem. But women are not nice when you try to talk to them. The average woman nowadays, you can't just step to them. You approach the average woman nowadays, if you're not an extremely attractive man, you liable to get a harassment charge. So you can't just go out of your way trying to approach women, and women need to understand that. Try to put yourself in a man's shoes to understand what's going on. And they always, and one thing I had to understand too, I used to think that as a man, you got to always be the one to insinuate interest in a woman. No, you don't have to be the one to insinuate interest. What I had to learn, and I wish I would have known this back when I was a teenager, women initiate interest in men they like. So if you a man that a woman is attracted to, they'll approach you and they will ask you out. So this idea that a man got to be the one to make the first move and women being mad for men not approaching them, that's a bunch of foolishness. And I'm going to go ahead and end this video right here because I don't want to make this a long rant on this beautiful Friday. But women pursue the men that they like. So, this idea that a man got to be the one to make the first move, that's not true. Because if a woman like you and they're attracted to you, they'll make it easy to connect with you. And as far as women being mad at men not approaching, hey, women brought it on themselves by how they treat men. But that concludes this presentation. Have a good evening.